We actually, at the moment, we do rather better than the men. And you guys, you're such pathetic wimps. You go along with all this rubbish about how we need women's rights.
I've been trying to stand up for poor, emasculated men.
You do that.
But do you think there's a... I mean, what they would argue, the women on the march, is that they were arguing...
They weren't arguing anything, they were shouting.
Well, I felt it was more of an anti-Trump thing, I've got to be honest with you, and the fact that the female candidate had lost and they were all very annoyed about it. But they think it's about genuine... They haven't quite got equality yet.
We've got absolute equality. We've got advantages which the men haven't got. I actually think it's gone very unfairly the other way. My view of equality is just that. It's that men and women compete on equal terms, not with one side having the playing field tilted towards them.
But Anne, sorry,
that is my view.
On the issue of equal pay, yes, there is legislation that means that men and women should be paid the same amount. But the fact of the matter is, women are still not paid the same amount for doing the work that someone sitting next to them might be doing.
That is a complete nonsense if you go into it. I mean, the fact is that if you do exactly the same job as a man, you must, in law, have exactly the same pay.
Except it's hard to get transparency about what a man doing the same job as you is getting.
Susanna?
You can, yes, but I'm just challenging that particular point.
I'd like to finish this sentence, and I state again that the law says you can't have two rates of pay for one job. The reason that it looks statistically as if women do worse is because women tend far more to work part-time because they have child responsibilities. They tend to take time off for maternity leave, and so they fall back in the promotion stakes. Those are the sorts of reasons, not because there's some discrimination against somebody who's prepared to come in and work every day just the same as me. Stand up for yourself, will you?
Oh, don't worry, you don't have to worry about me. I've been trying to stand up myself all week, and I've been killed for it. But
I don't think so. You're sitting here.
No, but to me, here's what I think, Anne. I thought that Theresa May had it right when she was asked about what kind of message would she take on behalf of women to President Trump on Friday. She said, well, the best role model example I can possibly give is walking into the Oval Office as the female Prime Minister of Great Britain, the most powerful woman in our country.
But if I were walking into the Oval Office as a Prime Minister, I would simply say, I'm coming here as a Prime Minister. Wouldn't worry whether I was male or female, young, old, gay, straight, black, white. I would simply be the Prime Minister. That's my attitude towards being an MP. You don't have positive discrimination. Doesn't matter what you are.
Because in America, Hillary Clinton, I thought one of the big moments in that campaign was in the primary part of the process. Madeleine Albright, who'd been a Secretary of State, and she gave a speech to some young women, and she actually said to them, whilst telling them to vote for Hillary Clinton, you know, there's a special place in hell for women who don't help other women. In other words, you don't vote for Hillary, you're going to hell. Now, that kind of entitled attitude really played badly in Middle America.
I never took the view that I was a woman MP or that I had a special duty to the women in my constituency. I took the view that I was an MP. Didn't matter whether I was male or female. Expected to be treated in exactly the same way, and that I served all my constituents, not just the women. So if there is a place in hell reserved for women who don't help other women, quite honestly, I would be very surprised. You help everybody. That is your job.
Is it a regret of yours that you weren't Prime Minister?
Well, I expect there's an awful lot of people who regret that they weren't Prime Minister.
But do you?
The practicality is that you get one Prime Minister per generation. So, you know, I always say to everybody, calm down there.
What do you make of Theresa May so far as Prime Minister?
Well, so far I think it's going well. Obviously, she's coming up to quite a testing time with Brexit, and we will see. But I think it's going well. I mean, I'm quite happy, much better than the last Prime Minister.
Sorry.
I was going to say, what do you make of all the focus? Because there is something specific that happens when a woman is in a position like that, and that is the focus on the way they look and their clothes. Now, it's something that actually Theresa May has embraced. She's doing a Vogue photo shoot. What do you make of that?
I'd rather she didn't, but it's a matter for her judgment.